If you're new here, you're gonna love this channel. I am currently going from this, literally nothing, to building a debt-free cabin which I will rent on Airbnb to create an income stream for my family. If you like construction and want to see all the details involved, this is the right place to be, as I'm putting all the effort possible in making the most detailed cabin building channel and sharing everything with you. I want you to get enough value here that you feel confident enough you would be able to build your own cabin. Building the last wall was not that difficult after building the first 3 walls. I finally started to feel like I sort of knew what I was doing. You can see me marking my bottom plate with all of the stud location. All of the studs are just 16 inches on center, so pretty simple. The only other thing I did, which is actually very helpful, is that I also marked all of my stud location on the floor about 6 feet from the bottom plate, which will then allow me to align my stud when placing them and making sure that they are indeed straight. Similarly to the previous wall, we marked up the location of the top plates on the floor using chalk, and then we were finally able to place them on the ground. After that, using my spreadsheet and my drawings, I went ahead and cut all of my studs to the correct height, and this rear wall had no opening, so it was actually pretty fast and easy, and I gotta say I really loved it, and this is kind of why I saved that rear wall for last, because I knew that it would be the easiest and fastest to get done. The only other thing to do was to build the central stud pack, which was going to support the ridge beam. I will talk about this in more detail in just a minute, but after that, it was just about nailing the whole thing together, and sure enough, we were done framing it.
So today is April 10th, we're in spring, allegedly. So would you explain me why there's ice in my cabin still? I really thought we were done with that. I can't believe it. There's some snow from last night. Oh, pretty good snow. Let's actually get some work done. So this wall is really simple. It doesn't have any opening. So I mean, you saw it, it was just studs, 16 inches on center. The only thing that I did different is that I did a proper beam pocket on this wall. So you can see here, I have the studs that will go directly below my ridge. I added an half-inch spacer because my ridge is 2 LVL, so that's 3.5 inch total. 2 studs is only 3, so you need to add something in between. And then those will go all the way past that 14 inches. The other difference on this end wall is that the plate here, if you paid attention to the previous wall, this plate here is much higher. The reason for that is that we will have an overhang, and so what's happening is that while you have your rafters, you kind of switch your rafter direction, and I will use 2x6s to form that overhang. So for that reason, I needed that plate to be higher because the 2x6 will be sitting on it. So again, it will make a lot more sense when we start framing you know, the roof, but that's it for now.
I wasn't sure what was going to be the best way to put sheathing on and avoid wasting materials. I just kind of followed what I did for the front wall and added 2 lines of blocking, one 2 foot from the bottom plate and the second one 6 foot from that first one. After having fun, a lot of fun, moving all the sheathing from the piles of materials in my driveway all the way up to the cabin, we just started to lay down the central pieces of sheathing, which were 6 foot pieces. Remember, I'm leaving a gap at the bottom and on the sides of the wall to be able to overlap my sheathing. After that, to finish sheathing the upper part of the wall, I really tried to use any leftover pieces I had, and then using the router, I cut everything that was sticking out. The router makes everything so much easier. I mean, it's totally worth it to get one just for that purpose. We then raised the wall, pretty typical at this point if you have been following this channel. We put the OST in place and raised the wall up. It's that simple now. I mean, I guess we kind of know what we're doing since this is the false wall to be raised. Just as we did for the front wall, we had to move the OST forward because they were not long enough to raise the wall in one go. After that, we have to check that the wall is plumb and fasten the bottom plate as well as the sides of the wall to the already raised side walls. Oh, and by the way, if you're interested in getting the free blueprint for this cabin, please visit my website at thediycabinguy.com/blueprint and follow the instruction there. Alright, once the wall was raised and fastened in place, I was ready to finish sheathing the overlap on the outside. Which was pretty straightforward, just filling out the gaps really. The only challenge, even with 2 persons, is to hold a full 4x8 piece of sheathing in place to nail it. We actually nailed one too low because it kept sliding from our hands, and we had to redo it because I'm obsessed with making sure everything is done right. I mean, I think you figured out by now that I'm a little obsessed with details. But anyway, that's just the way I do it. So this is really making for a strong wall assembly with that overlap, since the bottom overlap is getting nailed to both the rim band and the drop beam below. Oh, you can see here, that's actually the one that we messed up and had to place back correctly. But yeah, that was pretty exciting now because we were placing the last piece on, and that's it. The wall was good to go, and I was done with the last wall. In the next episode, we will try and raise the ridge beam, and yes, you guessed it right, there won't be any fancy crane involved, just pure shoulder strength and heavy grunts. So click on that link and see how we did it.